Valentino was only 22 when he was sentenced to 30-plus years to life in prison for murder, a murder that another man confessed to multiple times. Valentino had a hard time adjusting to prison life and used art as a way to escape his reality. But little did he know, 27 years after his incarceration, his artwork would be the key to unlocking his freedom. Take a look.
My name is Valentino Dixon. I spent 27 years in prison for a crime I didn't commit. Some say I drew myself out of prison. I loved to draw as a kid. I have been drawing since the age of 3 years old. I started going to performing arts high school in the 8th grade, and I graduated in the 12th grade. Art was my passion, and this is what I love to do. I grew up in a drug-infested neighborhood, a lot of crime, drug activity, gang members and stuff like that. And it's easy to get caught up, easy to be around the wrong crowd. And this is what happens. I was at a popular hangout. I went across the street to get a beer. I was reaching in the cooler and I heard shots. I ran outside, jumped in my car and pulled off. I was out driving and I was pulled over and I was taken into custody. My car was confiscated, my clothes were confiscated, and the detectives told me if I fired a weapon, then it would show up in the forensics, that it would be gunpowder residue or some type of forensics on my clothing in my car. However, the results were never turned over. 27 years later, we found out that those items were tested and cleared me of the crime. Witnesses came forward and the person that committed the crime confessed to the shooting. All of these witnesses and the shooter was disregarded. I knew the evidence was there and I had no doubt that I would be cleared. However, my attorney failed to call any of the witnesses. Over the years, I passed 2 polygraph tests, and that still wasn't enough. It took the Georgetown students to get involved to do a documentary where the prosecutor admitted that the clothes, my clothes, and the car came back negative for any type of forensics, a gunpowder residue. They had never turned over. They had disregarded the person responsible for the crime 2 days after the shooting. And 27 years later, they brought him in and he confessed again, and I was released. My sentence was 39 years to life. However, when the judge read it off, all I could think was I was in an episode of The Twilight Zone. You know, I didn't even think of the sentence. Yeah, and there's no way that anybody can do 39 years to life. I survived by drawing up to 10 hours a day the last 20 years of my prison sentence. My uncle told me, he said, if you can reclaim your talent, you can reclaim your life. I had not drawn or painted in 7 years. During the 8th year, he sent me some art supplies and I started drawing every day and I never stopped. I had become known as the artist in Attica. Some people called me the prison Picasso. And the warden said, hey, Valentino, would you draw my favorite golf hole? I never golfed before. I knew nothing about golf. I grew up in the inner city. And only thing we played was football and basketball as a sport. And he asked me to draw his favorite golf hole. I drew it, 12th hole of Augusta. He loved it. One of my neighbors said, Valentine, you should draw more golf holes. I said, what the hell are you talking about? I'm not drawing no more golf holes. You know, and he tossed some old Golf Digest magazines on my bunk. About a month later, I started drawing golf courses. About 6 months later, I had about 40 golf drawings, and I was just racking up a portfolio. I wrote the Golf Digest and I explained to them what was going on, what happened to me, and they decided to publish my story, which led to Georgetown University and the Golf Channel doing a documentary, which eventually led to my freedom. I was arrested on my mother's birthday. I'm the only child. When I went to prison, my daughter Valentina was 6 months old. It's the worst feeling in the world to know that you can't be there for your daughter and your mother and your family is going through this pain with you, and they're in a jail cell with you every day. I never gave up hope that my day would come, and that's what kept me going all that time. But the reality was there was always something in the back of my head that was telling me that you may spend the rest of your life in prison. And when they brought me to court and I was released, I can't tell you the feeling that was going inside of me. It was the greatest feeling in the world. I walked out of prison with over 900 drawings. But I said, now the real work gets done. I started a prison reform foundation called Art of Freedom. I've been commissioned by some of the most famous people in the world to draw their golf course. Michelle Obama purchased a piece from me for Barack Obama. I was arrested at 21 years old. I walked out of prison at 48. And I had my moments of being bitter, angry, upset, frustrated, but I've never allowed that to change who I am, not after 27 years of wrongful imprisonment. Life is too short.
You spent 27 years in prison for murder, for a crime you didn't commit. Did you ever think, I'm never going to get out of here?
Well, let me say this. Anything is possible, all right? I had read up to 700 books when I was in prison. So if I wasn't drawing, I was reading. And I read a lot of inspirational stuff. And I told myself, as long as you don't give up, you're going to get your freedom, okay? Even if I had to do the whole prison sentence, Steve, okay, and walk out of there at 62 years old, okay, I was determined to clear my name. I mean, I wrote 1,000 letters to reporters. Of course, I was ignored. And it wasn't until the warden asked me to draw his favorite golf hole that things started looking up. I didn't understand at the time, what course I was going down with this golf thing, because I had never golfed before, and I'm from the inner city.
Right.
And my neighbor encouraged me to draw more golf holes. And why, I don't know, but I did. He threw some Golf Digest magazines on my bunk, and I started drawing them every day. It's the weirdest thing in the world, Steve, because I didn't even care for golf. I didn't know anything about the sport. Anyway, after 6 months, I sent one of the drawings and a letter to the Golf Digest magazines. The Golf Digest magazine, they took an interest in my story, man. And that right there was such a huge accomplishment. And they came to the prison and interviewed me and followed the Golf Channel and other media outlets. And if it wasn't for the golf artwork, I believe that I would still be in prison.
Now, you get exonerated. We had that little clip of you walking out of prison. What was that? Like, you're waiting 27 years for freedom. And you come, they open up that gate at Attica. You come walking out. What is that feeling like?
Steve, I thought I was going to fall down the steps. My knees were so weak that if you watch the clip, you'll see me taking tiny steps, walking down the steps. And I said, you know what? In front of all these people, I know I'm going to fall. And at that moment, I just wanted to raise my hands up and thank God and just say thank you. Yeah.
So your daughter, Valentina, is joining us. Let's bring her in. This is just an incredible story on so many different levels. Your father, as a young man, goes to prison for a crime he doesn't commit. Is there anything you want to say to your father?
Yeah. Dad, you've been so strong for our family over these years, and I really admire your endurance. But now it's time to relax. It's time to live while we still have the time. And I love you, Dad.
Love you too.
And I just want to say, Valentino, I'm a golfer. I golf every day. And I do love your drawings. I mean, they're really beautiful, and you just do great work. And I'm sure you're bringing a lot of happiness into people's lives through your drawings. So I'm so proud to do this story. I'm so happy to do it, and I wish you, many, many years of spending time together with the two of you and with your grandkids, and just have a healthy and drama-free the rest of your life.
Yeah. Let me say this, Steve, before we go. She's one of the reasons why I would never give up, okay? And in life, it's all about leaving a legacy. There's no way that my legacy was going to end in a 6x8 prison cell. I just could not have that, Steve. And if you want one of these drawings, Steve, just let me know after the show, okay? We can make it happen.
No, thank you so much. And listen, thank you so much. Thanks for coming on. And like I said, enjoy the rest of your life, buddy.
Thank you.
Take care.
I was raped.
My name is Steve Wilkos, and I'm an investigative talk show host with a law enforcement background.
It was my life or his.
My job is to get truth and justice for everyday people. Watch our videos now.